Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227. Or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
And good afternoon and welcome to the award-winning Lambda Weekly. I'm the genial and always well-informed David Taffet, and I'm here with the very smart and loyal lieutenants Lerone, Landis, and the late Patti, Fink.
Bravo, bravo, encore, encore.
And with Josh and Chris and Doc.
Yes.
They're all here.
They're all here too. Yes.
So thank you for being here. Everybody contributes. In case people don't know what we're talking about, the Dallas Observer named us best talk show, best radio talk show in Dallas for 2014. Gave some of our history and said some real nice things about us.
Imagine
surprise,
that.
I know.
Surprise.
I know. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And you guys are so new to the market and everything.
I know.
Right out of the gate.
I know. It's amazing how they.
How are we going to top
latched
ourselves
on.
next year?
Now, this is one of those reasons that we are the best. We have a guest. He's already been on. Did we introduce him? No.
No.
Should we?
Of course not. Do they ever mention me?
Should we?
Yeah.
Okay, our guest today is Jett. We asked Jack because we wanted to prove that we are not the best talk show.
Yes, thank you. This will bring it all back down.
Right.
This will bring it down.
Bring us back to our roots. Jack, since you were on last, you had a heart attack or open heart surgery.
Yeah.
You had a stroke. Did you recover?
No.
But-
No. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And we're so glad you did.
We're so glad.
Yeah, thank you. No, it was a freaking nightmare, and I am so glad it's over. But it has opened my eyes to the fact that I have to start taking care of myself. This is that age when you can't eat 2 cheeseburgers a day and fries and tater tots and live your life at hunky. So I think I'm on the right track now.
So what have you been doing in all this new time that you have?
Well, this is what I'm doing. I was telling him I have become like a docuholic, so I watch documentaries. I read long format magazines. I'm become this plethora of curiosity and gathering information. And now my goal is to read the internet from front to back before I die. And so right now I'm up to the H's, and I keep getting backtracked. I'm stuck in Huffington Post, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, they keep putting new stuff in there.
I can't get out of that. But once I get past that,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. So
Good.
Yeah,
ask me anything about the world, and I'll be able to answer it for you.
Well, would you like to talk about ISIS?
What is it?
Well, no, he hasn't gotten it yet.
Oh, that's an I.
That's an
That's
I.
an
He's
I.
stuck in
No,
the
but in
H.
Huffington Post, I thought maybe they
Oh,
took.
okay.
No, I haven't
No.
got to that
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But he could testify at a Prop 8 trial.
But I can tell you about Britney Spears has a new line of lingerie out. So if you'd like to, that's
You know our listeners really want to know whatever Britney Spears is doing. She has a special place here with us at Lambda
Just
Weekly.
leave Britney alone, please.
And many years we did have that discussion
We did.
about who's hot and who's not.
Yes.
And these guys, this is when Aaron was on the show with us, and these guys decided that it must be Britney Spears that lesbians think Britney Spears is hot, and we were all like, oh God, no,
No, really?
no,
No,
she's not.
no.
Because I would have thought so too.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think Aaron called her a Barbie doll hoe.
Yeah.
If we can say that on the air, I don't know. We can.
I don't know.
But yeah.
What about Kim Kardashian?
No.
Oh.
No.
See, yeah.
See, but my favorite was a straight guy was driving through town and called up and said, "You guys didn't mention Sigourney Weaver." And Aaron and I went, "Sigourney Weaver, yes."
Oh, okay.
That's what they
See.
find hot.
Okay.
And of course, the ultimate is Melissa Etheridge.
She's very hot. She's very hot. But
Yeah,
there are others.
that's
There are many
Now,
others.
Leron's and my story
Pink-
is
Pink
we
is
went
hot?
with Patti to a Melissa Etheridge concert. Leron and I were the only two guys in the audience, and we were sitting there, and the women are throwing their underwear at her, and everything. They're
Seriously?
just screaming. Yeah, this was
It's
at
lesbian
SMU.
High Holy Days.
Yeah, and Leron and I are sitting there going, "Well, I'm really enjoying this concert. I guess this is what lesbians find hot."
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I've seen her. I saw her actually at in L.A. at a party one time, and I thought she was really cute. What about Joan Jett?
Joan Jett's hot.
Okay.
Very hot.
Oh, your sister.
And we are on. Yes, my sister Joan Jett. We are on the same thing there because I think she's got and still has it going on. So.
Oh yeah, and Pink and anyone.
yeah.
It's about attitude, not just
Yeah.
looks.
Yeah.
It's about tude.
Right.
I was
Okay.
gonna say
Yeah.
Pink, Joan Jett, Sigourney Weaver. Now
I'm seeing
a
the
trend.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do see the trend there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So you guys can have your Kim Kardashian and your Britney Spears.
Too much lipstick, not a good thing.
oh, here's I do have a question because this show started in 1983.
Yes.
Is that right? Can by any chance do you know what songs were hot in 1983?
No,
No.
that's
Off the
before
top
I
of
was
your head.
born.
Oh right.
Well,
I was in college then. What
I-
were you doing in '83?
I remember.
I was here,
Here on the show.
not here on the show. I was here in
83,
Dallas.
What would have been the?
I was in 5th or 6th grade. I just moved here from Houston, and Michael Jackson was on the top of the world with Thriller. That was all over the radio in 1983. Now, was KNON playing it? I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
No, I just wonder if you can. You should pull up 1983. There. Just wonder if when you started this, if what all was going on, like politically and.
Oh,
that whole
politically,
thing.
it was the beginning of the Reagan
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So we were getting very, very conservative at that time, and KNON was like the liberal oasis in
Right,
dark,
here-
dark.
And we
Here
just
in
had the
Dallas.
Iranian
Radio.
hostage crisis coming out of the Carter era.
Right.
Rush Limbaugh was just getting popular at that time, and I have a wonderful Rush story.
What about Dallas? What was going on locally in Dallas during '83? Do you remember? And was everyone concentrated on AIDS at that time?
Not yet. It was another year before we were. The first few AIDS deaths in Texas took place then, but no, it was not until really '84 that that we got serious about it.
So when you guys first started the show, it wasn't. You didn't start talking about AIDS. It kind of you evolved into
Yeah.
Yeah.
the subject.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the early hosts, I so wish we had archives of those
Yeah,
early
I know.
shows. That would just be awesome
To see
have.
with the flow, how the flow was.
Well, and also the show did a lot of music rather than things to talk about. We didn't have the internet, so I couldn't be sitting here fiddling on my laptop. I would have been fiddling on my Smith Corona, and that wouldn't have helped.
Right. So I didn't know that in the beginning. You guys used to play music. A lot of
We used to play music, and we subscribed to a lot of magazines and newspapers, and so the news we were discussing and talking about was always 3 weeks old.
Just even before I
Oh,
came,
that's so
or when
funny.
I first came, picking up from where the show had started, it was a 2-hour show, played music, and then we had a 15 or 20-minute pre-recorded segment from another show called This Way
This
Out.
way out. Uh-huh.
So when did you guys start using the internet? When did?
Well, even when I came on in 2000, we were still relying on Finsbury. And if you remember, Finsbury was two women in Iowa or Nebraska or someplace that called. Was a clipping service basically for LGBT news on the early internet. You know, when things were kind of kicking off. And I was been on the internet since '94, '95, but early 2000, it was still these big emails they would send out on a daily basis with all of the stuff they found around the world.
Now, that
on
was
the
a big
internet.
help.
Yes.
Because
And
all
it's
of a
like-
sudden we had it that week's news.
Right.
Right.
So
That week's news, yeah.
So prior to that, you were just kind of looking through publications and magazines.
Oh,
and
we would sit
flipping out.
We would sit at that table that you're at right now, and we'd just be flipping through magazines. And hey, here's something interesting that happened in Botswana.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the internet came, and it must have been like, oh my God, this information. This happened yesterday.
Right.
We were able to share it.
Exactly, and at that time there were just a few LGBT dedicated news websites, and then they kind of folded too. Remember Planet Out?
Yeah.
Planet Out was
Yes,
around, and then it went away, and different ones, and so. But now, gosh, you can get it. I mean, it comes to your phone in a text alert.
Right.
And
I mean-
even that Finchberry that you were talking about is still around in a different form now. They kind of gave all of the two ladies, they gave it to some other ladies, and it's called Queerly News or something. I still get the updates.
Oh,
That's
okay.
interesting. I think it'd be interesting to see with regards to AIDS, how it kind of, when did it flow in and out of, specifically the gay media, when was there?
Well, the gay media was really just getting going in '83. We had Twit in Texas, but
Right.
Dallas Voice didn't start till '84, and there were really very few other cities that had. San Francisco had a paper. New York has never had one consistent paper, but I'm sure they had something at the time. So there wasn't a gay media at the time. When we were asked to do this show, it was kind of okay, we'll do a gay show. Good. What's
Right.
that?
That's a good question. I'd be curious to see how much they covered AIDS at the time in '83 because they didn't even have a name then.
Right.
Right, I know.
Were they talking about, have you heard about this?
Well, there was
How
the New
many
York
friends that are
Times
getting
article.
sick?
People heard about it because of that New York Times article in '81. I think it was '81. But okay, it's just staying on the coasts.
Right.
Okay, it's getting a little bit closer. And we had our first couple of deaths here in Dallas in '83. The first person who died was the owner of Texas Ranch, which was a gay bar on Maple Avenue.
A guy named Terry, I think his name was Terry, for some reason that sticks out. When I was living in L.A., and I was actually living in L.A., but I had just spent 6 months in Tokyo. I had come back from Tokyo. My friends picked me up at the airport and said, oh my God, there's a new gay cancer going around. And I said, it sounded so weird. And they said, yeah, people get it if you had an egg salad sandwich at the French marketplace. In other words,
Get
they
outta here.
thought that at that point, the people that were in LA that were getting sick, that was the common thing. They had an egg salad sandwich at this one restaurant. So as long as you hadn't eaten there, then the second thing was if you was poppers. It's related to people who were doing poppers, and then it just, it spread from there. Do you guys remember ever doing a show or ever had?
I thought you were going to say, do you guys ever remember doing poppers?
Yes, doing poppers. Those days. Where you said too much AIDS, we can't. We've got to. You've got to back off.
Nobody ever said that to us. We've always been given free rein, cover what you need to cover, but we did purposely space out our shows about AIDS because
you'd have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Well, and in the late '80s, it was how many funerals did you go to in a week? And then to be on the air talking about it, you have to talk about other stuff. It's kind of like we do a responsible talk show, and then every once in a while we have you as a guest, Jack.
Right. To remind you that you're not really responsible.
Yeah. So you're talking about the egg salad sandwich, and that's how you get it. Okay. So this is today. 1900 and 2014, right? Okay, a Christian radio host who enthusiastically looks for signs the world will end welcomed the Ebola virus as a cleansing force. The Ebola epidemic could become a global pandemic, and that's a name for the plague. And what he said is Ebola could solve America's problems with atheism, homosexuality, sexual promiscuity, pornography, and abortion. Because Ebola only attacks atheists, atheist lesbians, sexually
abortions, I
yeah,
guess.
sexually promiscuous gay men who have abortions, whatever. So,
That's crazy talk.
well,
Yeah.
Of course.
That's
you know,
crazy talk.
you always wondered, should I bring up this story? And I thought, yeah, we have a crackpot on the show today, so we should. But
Absolutely.
I'm not going to even mention his name because it's not worth it. I don't want to give him the publicity. I just wanted to mention the stupidity. So back then, when we really didn't know where AIDS was coming from, the idea that it could be foodborne was
Yeah.
not discounted right
And
away.
do you remember the documentary that was aired in 2000 and dedicated to Don Baker that outlines the history of the Dallas Gay and Lesbian Alliance? Early in 83-ish, 84-ish, there's Ann Brown in our community. Hey Ann, hope you're listening. Talked about an early Dallas Gay Alliance, as it was called then, meeting where they were talking about this mysterious disease in Houston, and that someone had made the declaration that it'll never come to Dallas.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
You
That's
know,
really
because it just seemed so bizarre, kind of thing. It's mind blowing now.
We need to take a break. You're listening to the award-winning Lambda Weekly on 89.3 KNON
good.
FM. I'm the genial David Taffet, here with very smart Patti Fink and Lerone Landis, and we will be back with more right after this.
Oh.
And this is Lambda Weekly, and Lerone has an entertainment report.
Totally caught me off guard. Okay. Let's see
I
here.
caught him off guard.
Yeah.
We've been doing this show for 31 years. We just won
And
an
I've only-
award that's what, Jack? As
Yeah.
important as the Oscars?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Far more important.
Far more
than that.
important.
Like the Nobel
A-
Peace Prize.
And we do the entertainment report.
Right.
Maybe it is. Yeah,
Maybe
right.
it's time to switch. Maybe Leron's going to be late from now on.
And you
Maybe.
caught him off guard. I just wanted to.
I caught him off guard because,
Okay, we've been here on the air for 31 years, but I've only been here one.
No, you
yeah,
have not.
1 decade and a half.
You've been here 15 years. I've been here 15 years.
That's right.
And we always do the entertainment report at 20 after, unless we discuss that we're not.
Right.
Okay,
Sure.
just
And-
wanted to make that clear that
And David's been here since before he was born, and I'm going to be here until after I die. See, so we got to
because she's going to be late.
We have got
Because
to
she's going to be late. Yeah, we got to cover it. All right, now that the sexual assault lawsuit has been dropped against openly gay director Bryan Singer, it has been confirmed that he's going to do an X-Men film. It's called X-Men Apocalypse. He's made reasons to public why the lawsuit has been dropped. Nobody knows. Michael Egan, that's the man who brought on the lawsuit, claimed that he was forced into various sexual acts with Singer back when he was 17 years old. But again, he dropped the lawsuit. And so I thought, okay, maybe they did an out-of-court settlement, but they're not saying that. Lawsuit was just dropped.
I thought this story has been really interesting because, first he brought it against several. Egan brought this
He
lawsuit
did.
against a lot of people, and a lot of most of those guys stood up and said, "No way, dude, did I? I wouldn't have done that with you." But except for Singer, he always kind of stayed in the background. Well, then Egan's lawyer quit him. Did you know about that?
No.
His lawyer said, I'm not going to represent you anymore because I guess he found some holes in the story.
Well, there were some holes in the story,
Yeah.
particularly with the time frame. The guy was claiming he started being abused around 1997 to early 2000. He named specific places. Well, it's documented that Singer was living in Hawaii at the time.
Yeah, and this
So
is-
there were some major obvious holes in his story.
This was the part that I don't get. He was abused, I think it was 6 or 7 times by Singer in Hawaii. So in other words, this Michael Egan guy got on a plane, flew to Hawaii to be abused 7 times.
Exactly.
So he got on a plane, flew there, got abused, flew back, and thought, oh, I haven't been abused enough, so I'm going to fly back and get abused some more.
Well, not only that, then he waited 14 years
To figure out he was abused.
to figure out he was abused and to file a lawsuit.
Right.
So
Makes
So-
sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
And
what we've
people
learned is
people
if
who
you're
you
gonna be
abused,
yeah.
people who you abused, Jack, did they usually wait that long?
Let me tell you this: I never took them to Hawaii.
Oh.
That's for sure. They were lucky if I, got them to my home.
You got a sandwich.
At least some milk and cookies.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Facebook is currently enforcing a policy which only allows people to use their real identities. I've heard about this. Don't really know where it's coming from on the website. And
Like you, Jack, use your real identity.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
And they recently locked some accounts of a lot of drag queens because they don't go by their real names. And RuPaul.
Those are the obvious ones.
Those are the obvious. Anita Man, stuff like that. RuPaul has waded into the controversy, arguing that Facebook is stripping the rights away from drag queens. In a quote, he said, "In showbiz, there's no such thing as bad publicity as long as they spell your name right. But it is bad policy when Facebook strips the rights away from creative individuals who have blossomed into something even more fabulous than the name that their mama gave them."
Do you know, there were some other bad instances where people use a different identity, like people who are being stalked or,
Right.
are hiding for legitimate reasons.
Right.
I do think it's pretty prevalent on Facebook to see public school teachers go by completely different names.
Oh, and I know a lot of them.
And they don't even have to be like fabulous names. They have,
No, they're just
regular.
But they're not going to find those, and that's the
Right.
point.
Right.
Because it's a big widespread thing that you don't.
Well, how are they
interact
going to
with.
know? You don't have to show a driver's license to
Right.
sign up for Facebook. You don't have to show
Though
photo
somebody
ID.
did, and somebody that we know, and I forgot who it was, just posted a story how they had their account locked, and they wouldn't reopen it till they faxed over some proof that was their legal name. I think they had to fax over a driver's license.
Well, no one.
Yeah, so they're really getting serious about it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's the Republican place.
I mean,
Facebook,
at that
isn't
point,
it?
I think I was just like, you know what, forget it. Facebook's not that important. A lot of people are starting to go away to this another social network. LO. So,
And
I don't know much about it.
Aaron Sneeze said, "Oh, and Aaron, Facebook is for old people."
Who said that? That's
Aaron Sneeze.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm like,
great.
oh my gosh.
That's great.
Yeah, so here we all are on Facebook.
Yeah, but here's what I've noticed on that with regards to this, because it is really kind of just a crappy thing for Facebook to throw this extra rule in there or whatever. But people are complaining about it, but Facebook is almost becoming like a necessity that you don't want to change like this. People going over to LO. Is that like LO Kitty? LO?
But without an H.
Yeah,
Hello,
without the
Eddie.
H.
Hello, Eddie.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're a little paranoid about going over there, because do we all call each other on the phone, everyone on Facebook, and say, "Are you going to go? Are you going to go?" Or does it just gradually? How does that happen?
When what was the last one?
MySpace.
MySpace died.
How did that transfer go?
That was kind of a funny one. It was bought by Fox, and that was a big push to leave it.
Yeah,
Because it
that
was
would have been.
It's a motivator.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the motivator on Wipeout, where comes along and kicks you.
And MySpace it's still around. It transformed into something very different.
Into kind of a music.
It's like for up and coming music artists, music groups, how to kind
To
of
share
You know
their
why?
music.
Right.
Because you can upload an MP3
Yeah.
and play music on
Right.
on MySpace. And I tell you what, if Facebook allowed you to upload music, I mean, really upload like an MP3 instead of link to some video of it or whatever, then they'd probably take, MySpace might be dead.
I mean, I just think I've always thought it's just a matter of time before another social networking site, something comparable to Facebook, is going to come up.
The way we make fun of MySpace now, almost, like, what were we talking about in 2005? We were talking about our MySpace accounts.
Yeah.
And Google Plus just missed, didn't it? But Google Minus.
Yeah.
Google Minus.
Yeah, I don't understand that one at all. But I don't.
But if
think-
Google can't do it, that's part of the hesitation to changing to another one.
Yeah.
Google didn't get it; they get everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I would love to see something else. I would love for everyone to decide, okay, tomorrow we're all switching over to something else, because Facebook has become so junky and just like full of. I can't even find the messages buried in the middle of
ads and
the
the
ads.
filters.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking over and I have 30 applications I've never even asked for that are part of my Facebook. So
Well, I think it would help if they could at least have something to offset this new rule. like, okay, maybe your account has to be under your real name, but you have
AKA.
an AKA that you could go by.
No, you can have a page rather than
Right.
a fan page.
Well, and a lot of them saying that they don't want fan pages.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
You
So,
can't interact the same way.
Exactly. And or another thing that Facebook used to have, but they took it away. I know this personally, is you could list yourself as unsearchable.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't. So so they have taken away some options to keep your privacy.
And now the paparazzi are going to be all over you.
Oh my God! Not only that, you've got David being, genial, and the
I know.
genial people come out of the woodwork trying to find him. So,
I'm not looking forward to this week at work.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to be nice.
genial this, genial that,
Yeah.
genial this.
Not gonna work for me.
Always Genial.
Look at him calling you Gene.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for me at all. But the other thing about Facebook, one of the reasons they want to do this is because they collect all of that information. And,
Sell it.
if you put fake birthdays in, for example, you're selling wrong information. And the more reliable the information that you're selling, the more money you're making off of it, and the more people and companies rely on you. That's what this is really about. It's about making money. However, don't you think a drag queen who received a solicitation at her drag queen name is more likely to even pay attention to that than, just the regular junk mail?
I think it's like what Patti was saying earlier, though. It's not just drag queens. That seems that to us it's the most obvious scenario, but it's teachers and other people that just want to be part of Facebook, but they don't necessarily want all other people to know how to put out whatever they put out about their teachers.
And like my manager says, Facebook is simply about puppies and kittens. Puppies and kittens.
Yes.
Puppies and kittens.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? We can get rid of the kittens, as far as I'm concerned, because I like the
No, the
Okay.
puppies, the
Sorry.
puppies.
No, not the puppies.
Keep the kittens.
Now it's a war.
No, here we go. I am team puppy.
Team puppy right here.
Hashtag
Team
puppy. So just so you know.
So speaking of abortion,
Yes.
That-
No, I have not had one. That is not true. It was,
And-
it was open heart surgery. I swear, it was open heart surgery.
see, and Jack, they sometimes criticize me for my segues.
Okay.
So speaking of abortion,
smooth.
Merit Tierce was a server at Nick and Sam's over on Maple Avenue. Now this has been getting some national play. This week she told the Dallas Morning News that she received a $2,000 tip twice from Rush Limbaugh when he was here.
Wow.
So because she knows who he is and can't stand him, she took a good portion of that money and gave it to a group called the T Fund, which is an organization that helps women who can't afford abortions have an abortion. So his money that, he was in there, she said he was so obnoxious, just throwing the money around, impressing everybody that was around him. And, she kind of looked at it like at first, okay, what's going on here? The service wasn't that good. So
Right. Don't you think that he actually meant for her to buy Vicodin with that?
I
So
think,
OxyContin.
it's- Oxycontin,
maybe that's what it was.
Or Viagra, I guess, but maybe she wouldn't be doing that.
But she said, he was looking at her like, yeah, look at me. I'm giving this poor little lowly waitress a $2,000 tip. Ain't I and I don't even like women.
Oh,
So she wasn't impressed.
I would say that's unimpressed.
Yeah. So
Reaction.
when you throw it around like that, not always important. Jack, one of the things that we sometimes talk about here is same-sex marriage. So here's because you're here.
Do you believe in it?
Oh my God, two people of the same sex getting married?
Yeah.
But David, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Thank you for
I just
pointing
made
that out to us.
I can hear the little TM after it.
Trayvon. No. John and I have been together for 23 years, totally monogamous. Better be, honey. And I've often said that I can't imagine being any more married than I am now, and so we've kind of never really thought about it too much. But we have recently, because more than anything, it's just for us. It's just why not? Why we should be able to have this very same rights as everyone else.
So, have you and John gotten married yet?
No.
No.
But we're trying to. We want to find out, where we want to register. We want to get a list of all the gifts that we really want first. Isn't that the most important
That's
thing?
how you
Where you
usually
register,
start.
yeah.
Where you register and how much. We're just trying to figure out how much money we could possibly make off of it. How much
Target and Tiffany's and
Yeah, we don't
Okay,
want to
so
invest too
when
much.
this one over here got married, one of the places he registered was Target, and he had a whole list of nice things that they
Right.
needed. But you find us. How many years ago? 12 years was it?
Did I get married?
Yeah.
7.
Oh, 7 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago, you find a same-sex marriage card at Target in Duncanville.
I was surprised, to be honest with you, how many we did find. How many were that were given to us. I don't know where people
Not
got
from
it from.
Target.
Not from Target. But we did get some.
So I went to Target and I wrote in the card, "You sent me to Target. This is the card you get," and it had a picture, a lovely picture of a bride in it.
That's great.
did it have puppies and kittens on
No,
it?
it didn't have puppies and
It did have
kittens.
puppies and kittens.
Okay, so we're talking same-sex marriage. Michelle Bachman, who's married to a very nice gay man. Well, so she believes in gay marriage, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
She married one herself.
I love this believes in. Like if I just say la 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 la, it's not there.
No,
Because
it's
I
not
don't
there.
believe in it.
Yeah,
So-
I like the way they do that. Yeah.
So it seems like, she's been one of the most vocal opponents, and it seems like she's kind of changed her tune a little bit. She seems to have gotten that all of the arguments aren't working. She said she not only supported the federal marriage amendment, she worked as a state legislature to get an amendment on the ballot banning same-sex marriage in Minnesota, where not only did it lose, but within 6 months, the legislature then voted for same-sex marriage. And when it lost by about 10 points or so. Well, now here's her approach to same-sex marriage. The Value Voters Summit is being held in Washington on Friday, and she said it's not an issue. In fact, it's boring.
Really?
So that's their new
Boring?
approach
It's
to it. It's
boring?
boring, so they're not going to discuss it.
Well, I not so much that I think they're just finally getting the message. It's a losing battle.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
but
Maggie
that's-
Gallagher said as much on her
Yeah,
blog.
she said it
However,
also.
NAM is still going after Oregon that they're not being represented because Oregon said, oh, okay, the court ruled, all the branches of government here agree, so we'll abide by the ruling. Every court case doesn't have to be appealed.
No, it doesn't.
Otherwise you just wouldn't have lower courts. Everything would go to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Things can be decided by other courts. And Oregon said, okay, the court ruled, we'll abide by it. And you know what? Oregon's still there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? In a way, she's right, and to the point that I've been trying to make for years is that gay marriage is boring, just as straight marriages are boring. Marriage, after a while, it gets boring, and that's just so. That's what I try to get across to people is that I think sometimes straight people think, if two people of the same sex are getting married, they must be doing wild, crazy sex or.
Well, I think they think that about us no matter what, whether we're
And
married
really,
or not.
they're just thinking about Patti and Aaron.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or that we're bringing, like we're bringing in zebras and
Oh,
snakes and whatever. But we had the very
Puppies and
same
kittens.
and
Puppies and kittens.
right? But we're having this very same problems and battles in our marriage than any other straight couple. So that's one of the things I try to say to people. Our marriage is no different than yours.
Well, and the reason they're losing in case after case is that they're bringing up things like, there are 3 or 4 cases that were won based on one of the partners had a very serious illness.
Right.
And the partner that was surviving, or the one who was dying, wanted his partner to be able to still live in the house for the rest of his life. It was things like that.
Outlandish things.
Yeah, outlandish, these ridiculous gay people who want all these special rights.
Yeah.
Or Edie Windsor, who you're married to a man, you pay nothing in taxes. You're married to a woman, you pay $254,000.
$360,000 when they came.
With state tax and everything, and state and local tax, it added up. And why did we win that one? Because it was dollars and cents.
And I just have to say, in Lambda Weekly history, since we're the award-winning Lambda Weekly at the moment, that was one of the big rubs, I think, because David talked for years and years and years, talking about boring, bored our listeners with New York and taxes and marriage. And damn if the Supreme Court case wasn't New York and taxes and same-sex marriage.
But that's exactly what you're saying.
It is.
That's what wins it for us.
Yep.
You're listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3 Knon FM. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with the late Patti Fink and Lerone Landis. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Patti Fink, and you're listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3 Knon FM.
And welcome back to the award-winning Lambda Weekly. And we keep saying that. For anybody who didn't see it, Dallas Observer named us best radio talk show in Dallas.
Okay, so David calls me and leaves a message that we won this prestigious honor. And I thought, okay, prior to getting the message, I was at work, so I couldn't answer the phone. But I did see it. I had already seen it on Facebook, and I thought, this is a joke. Just kept scrolling past it. And then when I got your phone call, I'm like, okay, well, this must be real. So when did you hear about it?
David called me, and I was astounded, and he was like breathless.
Yeah, my call was, we won, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah, exactly. He's going, okay. I'm like, okay, I guess this is real. I mean, totally caught us off guard, but we appreciate it. We've never even won this in our own community.
Yeah, that
right.
When he told me that, I was astounded.
No. Because the Dallas Voice has their poll choices every year in the Dallas Voice with a long list of different categories, and one of them is best radio talk show host or best radio talk show. It never goes to us.
It never goes to us?
It
ever?
never goes to us.
Our own community?
Well, that's not always a category, but there's always some radio category.
Right. And we've never won any of them.
Well, I mean, I know that...
So thank you, straight people.
There were a couple of years that this guy, Jackie Jett, won 2 years in a row for... but, I mean, that was to be expected because he's brilliant. And that he has a lot of followers and people listen to what he has to say. So
we should have him on sometime.
That would be understandable. Of course, he's not known for his genial. He has no genial at all.
I think that was the key.
Yeah, no genial, lack of genial.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what, you guys, I mean, this really is, in all seriousness, this really is some story that I'm more amazed that a national gay publication or some other publication hasn't picked up the story that you guys have been here for so long, and that you've won some award recently too, and that you as a group have won this award, because I always say people don't understand being when you're being an advocate for what you believe in a place like Dallas or Texas versus LA and New York. It is so easy to be an activist in LA because if you walk, everyone's an activist. Here, it's a tougher, I'm sure Patti can tell you, it is not an easy thing to do. You're going to get, it's a tall poppy that's going to get cut down because you're doing it in a conservative environment. So to me, you guys really deserve the respect that are not getting the respect you deserve for doing what you do in such an
Do you know what I always find?
Thank you.
I-
Thank
If
you
you're
very
too
much.
close to those people, you just don't take what they're doing real seriously.
Right.
Whenever I've done, activism or whatever, people around me are like, oh yeah, that's just what David does. And then I'll get a call from across the country about it.
Yeah, I think I definitely think that's true. You guys are too close to it to see the effects of what you're doing because you're right in the middle of it. And outside of that bubble are people that really respect and admire you, and then further outside of that bubble are the people that benefit from what you guys do, but don't really care they don't even know what activism is. They just think, oh, that's what those people should be doing. Like you were put on this earth to do that for them. And that's what upsets me most about what's Dick Cheney's daughter's name?
Liz and Mary, they're two.
Mary's the lesbian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that one, if I ever had a chance to get at her,
Right there
she's
with
the one who took advantage of all the work that people put into all the years. She made it hard for us, really, by all that she was doing. And then she has a chance to get married. She gets married. Takes
Yep.
if you're listening, Mary, you should.
I think she's a
send-
regular listener.
Okay, right now you should send Patti Fink a check for at least $20 million for this right that you have to marry that woman you married. And
Well, that's
until-
very generous of you, Jack and Mary. But but I think Mary should put all of us on the pay line. Everyone who's been stepping up, and people who
Yeah,
vote,
absolutely.
people who are registered to vote, people who vote, people who get out there and say, "Hey, I'm an American who's equal to everybody else too."
And use some of that money from Daddy's Heart Fund to help us out here.
You know, Halliburton is in the H's. Are you going to be reading about Halliburton?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna be riding to them. It's what I end up usually doing.
And hypocrites in there too.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, boy, that's gonna
I'm
be a
gonna be
big-
stuck there forever.
You're in HU right now. Wait till you get to HY. Yeah.
So speaking of using an Uzi at a gun range,
That's way that's way up in the U's.
No.
Are you talking about the one I used at my abortion?
no. This is the 9-year-old who was at a gun range
Yeah.
and was given an Uzi to use, and
Killed her instructor.
yeah, because it's
The
a big,
recoil.
heavy gun
With a
that's
lot of
meant
power.
for war,
Yeah.
and it
It kicked her back.
kicked, and she ended up shooting her instructor.
And it turns out he should have been on the other side. But, technically.
But
Well,
know,
the
the
point
recoil-
is, she probably shouldn't have been there with that gun in the first place.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, so here's what the NRA had to say about it. 2 days after that tragedy, they put out a memo or a tweet that said, with a link to their new article, 7 ways children can have fun at the shooting range. And
And then whisper one of those
So-
ways
Yeah.
is not fun.
I just, those two words should never be in the same
Yes,
sentence.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Children, gun range.
Yeah.
I just find it,
And
wow.
fun.
I can take my daughter, who's 5 years old, to a gun range, but I can't take her to a bar.
you can no longer, at her age, have her use an Uzi
Not anymore.
at most places.
I don't think a 9-year-old really should be using a kitchen knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Well, this just shows a difference in the way you would raise your children and the way I would raise mine. I think there's nothing wrong.
let's go to the atomic bomb
I
range.
can't even go there.
but we get the point.
No, but if you're taking a kid to a gun range, just because that child is at the gun range and just because the gun range has this full range of guns doesn't mean that a little 9-year-old can handle the biggest gun,
Right.
right?
But
Yeah.
what was this girl's father and mother, if she was there, thinking? What was going through their mind? What
You
were they
know,
hoping to obtain?
What was the gun instructor thinking?
Same thing, but yeah, how did all of this
Okay,
come
so
to be?
The defense I've read and a lot of comments under this is tradition. I can't tell you how many posts I've seen people
Oh, please.
say.
What
Exactly. Oh,
tradition is there
exactly.
to use an Israeli-made Uzi
Exactly.
in
They're
some
like-
rural place in the U.S.? That's not a tradition.
It's not, but this is what I've read. Like, oh, well, I grew up with guns. My dad showed me how
Well,
to use
but-
a gun when I was a kid.
But you
So
didn't
there's
grow
something-
up with an Uzi.
Exactly.
This is what's commonly known now as ammosexuality.
Homosexuality.
Okay, so here's what the
They're so into it. It's
here's what the gun range did.
I'm
They've
homophobic.
raised the age to 12.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
Now, if it bucked because of her size, don't you think maybe you should put a little bit more thought into that rule, and size and weight of the person who's using it should come into play a little bit?
Why not just
maybe?
buck it up to 18 when they're legally
No,
an
because
adult?
kids need to be able to use an Uzi.
But you know that seriously, people are concerned that Obama. I think some of them think Obama himself is going to go door to door collecting
And
your
take,
guns,
and take your guns.
and that he's going to go from one house to the next and go, "Hi, I'm Obama, and I'm here for your guns," and literally take them all the way. That's the way when I'm looking at people writing about the conservatives writing about gun, they think that anything like the story you just told and trying to stop anything like that is a slippery slope to no one being able to.
Yes, but here's what the NRA says about why children should be able to use an Uzi in particular. If children continually shoot the same bullseye target, they can become tired, exhausted, or bored. As the boredom sets in, the effect that goes into shooting can deteriorate. In our case, we have youth competitors, LG and friends who train on a regular basis. Sometimes they want or rather need to have fun at the gun range.
Oh, come on.
That's what.
It's some innate thing, right?
Mhm.
Right. You know, if it's going to be innate, it's going to be like
Boredom sets
starting
in.
a fire or making a flint, because
Yeah.
that's what we did early on. That
But
would be closer
boredom
to our
sets in,
nature
Patti.
than a gun.
Boredom sets in, and you might shoot recklessly if you're bored. Well, what about if you can't handle the gun
Yeah.
because
what
it's
if it's
too
your first
big and
time
heavy?
to do it, and you kill somebody? That's just amazing to me.
Well, that's the NRA's latest argument.
And yet, the fact of the matter is, this is the fact, that President Obama has not limited gun rights in any way, shape, or form at all.
No.
And in fact, he's expanded them, because the one action he's taken on guns at all is to allow hunters to enter national parks with their weapons to hunt.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's all he's done. And so when you look at the one thing he's done, it was to expand rights, not contract them, not take your guns away. He's not going to come knock at your door.
Right.
Well, do you know what he should do in order to limit rights to guns? He should come out as a member of the NRA. And then all the Republicans will have to say, well, we need to leave that organization.
Well, I think
That
that's
is
true.
a great idea.
I think if
actually.
people of color and all kinds of minorities, if they were just to overcome the 5 million, basically straight white people who are in the NRA, who comprise the NRA, they would freak out. They would freak out.
Totally.
You know, if there were 8 million people of color and women and minorities.
I just simply don't know what the Republicans and teabaggers are going to do when Obama is no longer president.
Well, they'll have Hillary.
You would think at this point they would realize that cannot run again, but they have only increased their vitriol on bashing him about every single thing and doing so. And here's what I've noticed: I can be in a like a public restaurant or even like a McDonald's or something, and you hear people standing in line, and people openly, and they do it right on the edge of being racist. It's like their words and I'm thinking, and they seem proud, like they're saying it loud that they want to, and it seems like that they're so caught up in Obama bashing that they have forgotten, we need to find someone to run for president, don't we? It seems like they've ignored that fact all together, and they're going to get.
They have Rick Perry.
Okay. Okay.
Don't get Jack started on Rick Perry.
You have just lost your geniality, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned.
But you know what? If you saw the debate this week between Wendy Davis and Greg Abbott, you would think that Greg Abbott was running against President Obama.
Yeah.
Because he talked about him nonstop, how much he's suing him.
Yeah.
You know, and how much he didn't mention how much he's losing those lawsuits.
He's lost every single lawsuit that he talked about.
Oh yeah, and he's wanted to file more. So
it doesn't matter that all these suits lost. Hey, I filed a lawsuit on, and I'm against this and I'm against that. Yeah, but
did you win any
goes
of
to
them?
court and you lost. So those are not the law.
So the Republicans in Texas, particularly, must think that the ballot's going to say Greg Abbott versus President Obama, Barack Obama, and then for lieutenant governor, it's going to say, you know, the dingbat against President Obama. And, you know, on down the ballot. Like, he's the only one on the ballot, and he's running for, like, county commissioner in Travis County or something, you know?
All right, exactly. It's running. It's all going to be used. Whatever if you're a Republican running for anything, you just got to bash Obama. You don't even have to have a plan for what it is you're running for. As long as you know enough Obama bashing terms, that then that's all you have to say. And it's like, yeah, he hates him too. He's got to be a good guy. So
Yeah, he'll keep us from
He's
expanding our health
qualified.
care.
he's qualified.
Yeah, we're going to pay for health care. We're going to spend millions and millions of dollars, of extra dollars, just so that we can show Obama that we don't like him.
But do we really think Rick Perry is going to run again?
I hope so.
I hope so.
You do?
And I hope he wins the nomination.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I can.
Because Lerone and I are good, loyal Texans.
Okay, and you know he does. He got this dark
He
glass.
got the
thing for
Jack
me.
Jett glasses. He did.
I watch him. If he starts wearing yellow gloves, Playtex gloves, I will know the man is.
He's a ripoff.
You don't have
He's a
that
rip-off.
copyrighted, huh?
Yeah.
Not copyrighted.
Yeah, but I would say we're probably on the same.
Do you know what we forgot to
brain.
do during the show? We were going to play the announcement that we won this award over and over and over again. We forgot to play it even a second
Oh
time.
no, that'll be next week.
Well, next show we'll play it, so stay tuned,
Yeah.
because after the top of the hour, they'll be playing the announcement that we won the Best of Dallas Award for Best Radio Talk Show. That takes us to the end of another Lambda Weekly. Our guest next week
Is Kendall
Kendall Alexander.
I'm looking at
Alexander.
Lerone because I'm not used to pointing at Josh or Chris.
And then the week after that, we have
and
another.
Kendall Alexander is?
Gay romance writer.
And then the week after
Oh,
that, we
that's
have
great.
Randy Martin.
Who's a
He's one of the local gay counselors.
gay counselors.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of another Lambda Weekly, and we
Thank you, Jack E. Jett.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime, guys. Congratulations again.
Thank
you.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.